History is filled with tales of ambition, courage, and conquest, but few stories shine as brightly as that of Alexander the Great. Born in 356 BCE in the rugged kingdom of Macedonia, Alexander would rise to become one of the most legendary figures of all time. By the age of 32, he had built an empire that stretched across 3 continents, from Greece to Egypt, through Persia, and into the heart of India. His name became synonymous with brilliance, daring, and an unquenchable thirst for glory. But who was Alexander, and how did he achieve what no one before him had ever dared to dream? Alexander was born into a world of intrigue and ambition. His father, King Philip II of Macedonia, was a brilliant military leader who had united the fractured Greek city-states under his rule. His mother, Queen Olympias, was a fierce and enigmatic woman who claimed descent from the mythical hero Achilles. From the very beginning, Alexander was surrounded by legends, and he was determined to become one himself. Even as a boy, Alexander displayed extraordinary talent and determination. At the age of 12, he tamed a wild and unruly horse named Bucephalus, a feat that stunned his father and his court. King Philip, recognizing his son's potential, famously declared, "My boy, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedonia is too small for you." Alexander's education was entrusted to none other than Aristotle, one of the greatest minds of the ancient world. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a deep love for philosophy, science, and literature. But it was the art of war that truly captured his imagination. He studied the strategies of great commanders and dreamed of surpassing them all. At just 20 years old, Alexander's life changed forever. His father, King Philip, was assassinated, and the young prince was thrust onto the throne. Macedonia was a powerful kingdom, but it was surrounded by enemies and internal strife. Alexander acted swiftly, securing his rule and crushing rebellions with a combination of cunning and brute force. In 334 BCE, Alexander set his sights on the greatest prize of all, the Persian Empire. With an army of 40,000 men, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor, marking the beginning of one of the most audacious military campaigns in history. His first major victory came at the Battle of Granicus, where he defeated the Persian satraps and established a foothold in the region. But it was at the Battle of Issus, in 333 BCE, that Alexander truly proved his genius. Facing the massive army of Persian King Darius III, Alexander employed bold tactics, outmaneuvering his enemy and securing a decisive victory. Darius fled, leaving behind his family, who Alexander treated with unexpected respect and honor. Alexander's conquests continued unabated. In 332 BCE, he marched into Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptians crowned him pharaoh, and he founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a beacon of learning and culture for centuries to come. From Egypt, Alexander turned east, into the heart of the Persian Empire. He captured Babylon and Susa, and in 330 BCE, he reached Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of Persia. The city was burned to the ground, a controversial act that some say was revenge for the Persian invasion of Greece over a century earlier. Alexander's vision extended beyond mere conquest. He sought to create a unified empire, blending Greek and Persian cultures. He adopted Persian dress, encouraged his men to marry Persian women, and even incorporated Persian soldiers into his army. This policy of integration was revolutionary and deeply controversial among his Macedonian comrades. By 326 BCE, Alexander's empire stretched from Greece to the edges of India. But his ambition knew no bounds. He pushed his army into the Indian subcontinent, where they faced fierce resistance and unfamiliar terrain. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River, Alexander achieved another stunning victory, but it came at a cost. His men, exhausted and homesick, refused to go further. Reluctantly, Alexander agreed to turn back. The journey home was grueling, and the army suffered heavy losses in the Gedrosian desert. By the time they reached Babylon in 323 BCE, Alexander was planning new campaigns, but his body and spirit were worn thin. At just 32 years old, Alexander fell ill and died under mysterious circumstances. Some say he was poisoned, while others believe he succumbed to disease or the toll of his relentless campaigns. His death left his empire without a clear successor, plunging it into decades of conflict known as the Wars of the Diadochi. Though Alexander's empire fragmented after his death, his legacy endured. He had spread Greek culture and ideas across the known world, creating the Hellenistic Age, a period of extraordinary cultural and scientific achievement. Cities like Alexandria became centers of learning, where Greek, Egyptian, and Persian traditions merged. Alexander's life inspired countless leaders, from Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte. His name became a symbol of ambition, courage, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Even today, over 2 millennia after his death, Alexander the Great remains a towering figure in history, a man who dared to dream of conquering the world and came closer than anyone before or since. What would the world look like if Alexander had lived longer? Would his empire have endured? We can only imagine. But one thing is certain: his story reminds us that the limits of human potential are defined not by what is possible, but by what we dare to dream. Like, share, and subscribe for more historical documentaries.